want to be the reason that the British public didn't get this fight. And everybody's extremely positive about the fight. Everyone's extremely excited. Sometimes a fight like this can happen against the head. You know, for years you wait for it, and times it definitely should have happened. And now maybe is a time that, let's say it shouldn't happen, but you at least expected it to happen. And it happens. So fingers crossed.
Do you give AJ more chance of beating Tyson Fury than perhaps you did heading into the Alexander Usyk?
I thought he'd beat Usyk. I always think AJ's going to win. You know, I back him every time. I've got his back every time. And I think he's an outstanding heavyweight. He lost to the pound for pound #1. I've always believed he can beat Tyson Fury. But listen, I've written Tyson Fury off before and he's proved me wrong. But like I said, I didn't expect the next fight to be Tyson Fury. But AJ is the boss. He's the guy who makes the decisions. And he says, I may never get the chance again because he fights Usyk, he retires, etc. So if it's here, I accept. You know, and I would have liked to negotiate a little bit harder. But for AJ, it wasn't really about that. It was like, if this is real, take it.
So we've heard the contract's on the way. So you expect in the next few days we might have some sort of update?
Again, I don't think this is one that we're going to be going backwards and forwards on with the interviews and the social media. You know, I said to George that, of course, I'm going to get asked about it a lot this week. There's nothing really to tell you other than we've accepted terms that were offered. We await the contract and fingers crossed. So I don't expect to, I mean, we live in a world of rolling updates, but I think we'll work quietly and see if we can get it done.
Well, I'll speak on behalf of all boxing fans. We hope we have some good news regarding that fight. Also, yeah.
All right, that was Eddie Hearn doing an interview on the his YouTube channel, the Matchroom Boxing YouTube channel. Earlier today, this was shot from my understanding. If not earlier today, then definitely yesterday. Right now, September the 13th, 2022. It is Tuesday. You have Canelo versus Golovkin 3 this Saturday. So Eddie Hearn is the promoter of that event. And he is in Vegas right now. So this video or this interview is no more than, let's say, a day old. But it was published today on the Matchroom Boxing YouTube channel. You can go watch it. So basically, he's saying that he met with George Warren. Who is George Warren? Is that Frank Warren's son, one of his sons, or a brother? But basically someone from Queensberry Promotions, and they've been talking, they've been in contact because there's still some bad blood between, as he would call him, Frank Warren would call Eddie Hearn, Edward. So that alone is going to be a talking point to see them at a press conference together promoting what would be still, despite Anthony Joshua losing 2 straight fights to Alexander Usyk, clearly losing, still Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua is the biggest fight in Australian history. So what you hear from him is, I want to go and play this back because you can tell that he really doesn't like the fact that it was a take it or leave it type of deal. Like, you know, Frank Warren and Matchroom, I mean, Frank Warren and Queensberry were like, look, this is the contract Tyson Fury is giving out. This is the contract we feel is fair. 60-40 split, December the 3rd. You know, if AJ wins in the rematch, it'll be 50-50. And AJ wants it, but you can tell that Eddie Hearn, you can tell something. You know, let's go back and listen to it, though. Let's go back and listen to it. Take your time out. Like the video. Subscribe. For those who are just getting here, welcome to the Fight View 360 Boxing Podcast. We're going to be here for about 45 minutes or so. I am exhausted. I have been in the gym 7 days straight. 13 of the last 14 days. No, excuse me, 13 of the last 15 days, and I'm painting the kitchen. I'm exhausted. You know, so, but either way, it's a big fight week. The show must go on. So on today's show, we're going to talk about obviously opening up with Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Then we got to talk about the fight of the week, Canelo versus Golovkin 3, how it just don't feel no buzz. But we're going to go check in on the grand arrivals that happened earlier. Like, let me tell you something. This doesn't feel like a Canelo or Golovkin fight week or Canelo fight week, period. We got to talk about what's going on with Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. And of course, since the Queen died, we lost Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall until October the 15th. I was kind of hoping that greed would prevail over the Queen's death. They tried, but at the end of the day, the fight was canceled about a couple of hours after the weigh-in was supposed to originally take place last Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. But let's go listen to what Eddie Hearn had to say. For those who didn't get a chance to see this, here, I'll put the link in the chat for you. It's on the Matchroom Boxing YouTube page, and he did a sit down with one of his team members, basically talking about, you know, what's been going on with Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Conor Ben, Chris Eubank Jr., which is still on. That's why I didn't entertain none of the news that came out yesterday about Chris Eubank Sr., the fake sheriff, talking about how the fight was going to be canceled because of the 157-pound catch weight. I didn't believe none of that. But anyway, take your time out, like the video, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy and at FightView360.
We accepted the offer in writing on Friday. Obviously, let the weekend pass, and then this morning, AJ 258 and ourselves just put a statement out to say, look, just to let you know, we've accepted all terms put forward by Tyson Fury for that fight. Spoke to George Warren again this morning. We expect to receive a contract in the next couple of days, and hopefully we can move forward with a fight. You know, there's no.
Okay, so the terms were sent out. Matchroom and the management company and Eddie Hearn, 258 management, they've agreed to the terms. So that's what that means. They looked over the terms, they agreed to it, and now the contract for everything is being drafted up. So once again, it will be a 60-40 split for in favor of Tyson Fury. It will be happening December the 3rd. Where's it going to be? In Cardiff? Isn't that the stadium that can close? And if it's a rematch, if Anthony Joshua wins, then it will be a 50-50 split. Also, Anthony Joshua has just popped up in the WBC rankings, which was bound to happen. He is now ranked, I believe, number 5 or 6.
Reason not to now. The kick it or leave it, and we took it. We accepted the offer of Warren, that we had an offer for the fight. We weren't happy with all the terms. We tried to negotiate those terms, and we were told there is no negotiation. Take it or leave it, and we took it. We accepted the offer in writing on Friday. Obviously, let the weekend pass, and then this morning, AJ 258 and ourselves just put a statement out to say, look, just to let you know, we've accepted all terms put forward by Tyson Fury for that fight. Spoke to George Warren again this morning. We expect to receive a contract in the next couple of days, and hopefully we can move forward with a fight. You know, there's no reason not to now. The key terms are agreed. Obviously, there's broadcaster situations to sort out, which at the moment is all extremely positive. So fingers crossed. I'm not going to go too deeply into it and not start he said, she said, because at the moment, you know, we're in a good place. It's not what we expected. You know, coming off the Usyk defeat, I felt AJ would come back with an easier fight in December and maybe one in the spring, and then Dillian Whyte and Wilder. But this is the fight that AJ's wanted for so long, and he wasn't prepared to wait any longer. You know, he felt this could be his only opportunity to get the fight with Tyson Fury. Everybody asks him about that fight all the time. He's continuously fought all challengers. He's continuously fought everybody that people wanted him to fight or tried to fight them, and this is another example of that. So, as I said, you know, I think Mr. Fury has a great deal, but this one wasn't really about the money for AJ. This was about the challenge, and we accept the challenge.
The terms that have been reported 60-40, first fight in favour of Tyson Fury, 50-50 split if AJ wins the rematch. Are those accurate as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we weren't allowed to negotiate. You know, in all deals you negotiate, but we were told unequivocally, no movement.
Look, you can tell us eating him up.
And, you know, we were treated like the B-side going into the fight. Whether that's right or wrong, it doesn't really matter, because it came down to AJ wanting the fight. And remarkable run. You know, I'll talk about Anthony Joshua's resume, you know, and dating back to Dillian Whyte and Brazil and Molina and Klitschko and Takam and Parker and Povetkin and Ruiz, Pulev, Usyk, Fury. I mean, this may be the greatest resume or run of fights for any heavyweight of our generation. He's still...
Now, it is true that financially AJ is the A side, but he's lost 3 of his last 5 fights. He don't got no belt, And with the way things are set up right now, Usyk having the WBA, IBF, and WBO, the mandatories are already in line for all three of those belts. For example, the WBO is going to be the winner of Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker, a fight that I'm going to be looking forward to. And we're going to be streaming during the main event and providing full coverage. That's happening on September the 24th. The IBF is now Felix Hergovitz, who in my opinion should have lost to CCP Zheli Zhang. Big bang. And the WBA is going to be contested between the winner of Hughie Fury and Michael Hunter. They have to fight Trevor Bryan to be the WBA. And as far as the WBC is concerned, you have Deontay Wilder taking on Robert Helenius. And then there's some conflicting news going on because you had Andy Ruiz defeat Luis Ortiz in an eliminator, a semifinal eliminator. But then you have Deontay Wilder and Robert Helenius fighting on October the 15th on PBC on Fox pay-per-view here in the States. Is that a final eliminator? But either way, we're going to see Deontay Wilder, if he beats Robert Helenius, against Andy Ruiz sometime in April or May of 2023. So basically, the point I'm trying to make is Anthony Joshua, this is going to be his last sniff at a title for a long time. Now, Eddie Hearn had talked about how he wanted to take Anthony Joshua on a tour, and me and my colleague on our podcast, me and Mikey, we did a podcast talking about how basically it's going to be all about the money for AJ from here on out. Yeah, he's getting this shot against Fury if it gets finalized, but originally the plan was for him to fight maybe a comeback fight in December against maybe an Otto Wallin, maybe a Dylan White, then go try to chase after the Deontay Wilder fight, which they probably likely wasn't going to get, and then go fight Big Bang Zheli Zhang up in China, which will be, a big money fight, and go along that circuit. There's still big fights out there for Anthony Joshua. But as Eddie Hearn said, Anthony Joshua is the boss, and Anthony Joshua wanted this fight. And I think that because of the 2 straight losses to Usyk, 60-40 is fair. And you're not undefeated and you don't have a belt. But financially, I don't think we can argue that Anthony Joshua is the financial A side. So you can tell that's been eating up Eddie Hearn, that, they're like, listen, no, we're not trying to hear none of that shit. Meaning Frank Warren, Queensberry Promotions, BT Sport, that whole side over there, they're like, no, it's take it or leave it. Here's the terms, and we feel it's generous. 60-40 split, December the 3rd. If you win, 50-50. And for him to go rattling off the resume of Anthony Joshua, you can just tell, look, he's not saying it, but he's saying it. He's like upset that he have no say in this.
Tyson Fury 50-50 split if AJ wins the rematch. Are those accurate as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I mean, for so long, and he wasn't prepared to wait any longer. He felt this could be his only opportunity to get the fight with Tyson Fury. Everybody asks him about that fight all the time. He's continuously fought all challengers. He's continuously fought everybody that people wanted him to fight or tried to fight them, and this is another example of that. So, as I said, I think Mr. Fury has a great deal, but this one wasn't really about the money for AJ. This was about the challenge, and we accept the challenge.
My bad. I said Daniel Dubois. Thanks, Hassan. I said Trevor Bryan. No, I meant Daniel Dubois defeated Trevor Bryan. And Daniel Dubois has to fight the winner of Hughie Fury and Michael Hunter to be the WBA mandatory. So apologies for that.
The terms that have been reported 60-40, first fight in favour of Tyson Fury, 50-50 split if AJ wins the rematch. Are those accurate as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we weren't allowed to negotiate. In all deals you negotiate, but we were told unequivocally. Now
watch and listen to his body language. Just pay attention to this.
Fight in favour of Tyson.
He is hot. He is pissed.
Split if AJ wins the rematch. Are those accurate as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we weren't allowed to negotiate. In all deals you negotiate, but we were told unequivocally, no movement. Take it or leave it. And, we were treated like the B-side going into the fight. Whether that's right or wrong, it doesn't really matter, because it came down to AJ wanting the fight. And remarkable run. I talk about Anthony Joshua's resume, and dating back to Dillian White and Brazil and Molina and Klitschko and Takam and Parker and Povetkin and Ruiz, Pulev, Usyk, Fury. I mean, this may be the greatest resume or run of fights for any heavyweight of our generation. He still probably won't get the credit, but I hope he does, because ultimately, you know, the gauntlet was laid out and he ran it, and he wants this fight.
We've done this interview a few times now, Ed, where we've spoken about Joshua Fury. It's looked like it's moving in the right direction. Can you say, hand on heart, this is the closest it's been to happening?
No, because the closest it's been, you know, we signed the contract for the Fury fight. The fight to take place in Saudi Arabia, that fight was agreed, signed. That was the undisputed fight. And unfortunately, the arbitration ruling meant that fight couldn't take place. So, you know, we've already signed for this fight previously. People talk about, does AJ want this fight? People need to realise AJ has never backed down from a fight. He signed for this fight before. He's accepted the fight again now. So we have to receive a contract first. That's the first thing. But generally, you know, if they really want the fight will get made. He's all in for the fight. So I always have my doubts, you know.
That's a strong term, though. They told him when they sent over the terms, no movement. You know, he was trying to, you know, do the whole fast car thing, trying to do the jive talking to get them maybe to get a little bit of a split, probably started rattling off AJ's resume like he just did right there. And they was like, no movement. Like, ooh, you know, power move. No movement.
But everything I hear from George Warren,
take it or leave it.
I believe, you know, and I think that they're saying all the right things. They're telling me they 100% want to make the fight, and if they do, they'll get it.
And we said off camera, DAZN and BT striking a deal. You don't see that holding things up necessarily?
No, I think, you know, those conversations are already rolling. I don't see any reason why that can't be, an amicable solution can't be found for that. Obviously, you've got ESPN in America, you've got DAZN. You know, the broadcasters could stop this fight, but I don't think they want to stop the fight. I think it's in everybody's interests for the fight to take place. And I don't think any broadcaster would want to be the reason that the British public didn't get this fight. And everybody's extremely positive about the fight. Everyone's extremely excited. Sometimes a fight like this can happen against the head. You know, for years you wait for it, and times it definitely should have happened. And now maybe is a time that, I say it shouldn't happen, but you at least expected it to happen. And it happens. So fingers crossed.
Do you give AJ more chance of beating Tyson Fury than perhaps you did heading into the Alexander Usyk?
I thought he'd beat Usyk. I always think AJ's going to win. You know, I back him every time. I've got his back every time. And I think he's an outstanding heavyweight. He lost to the pound for pound number one. I've always believed he can beat Tyson Fury. But listen, I've written Tyson Fury off before and he's proved me wrong. But like I said, I didn't expect the next fight to be Tyson Fury. But AJ is the boss. He's the guy who makes the decisions. And he says, I may never get the chance again because he fights Usyk, he retires, etc. So if it's here, I accept. You know, and I would have liked to have negotiated a little bit harder. But for AJ, it wasn't really about that. It was like, if this is real, take it.
So we've heard the contract's on the way. So you expect in the next few days we might have some sort of update?
Again, I don't think this is one that we're going to be going backwards and forwards on with the interviews and the social media. You know, I said to George that, of course, I'm going to get asked about it a lot this week. There's nothing really to tell you other than we've accepted terms that were offered. We'll await the contract and fingers crossed. So I don't expect to, I mean, we live in a world of rolling updates, but I think we'll work quietly and see if we can get it done.
Well, I speak on behalf of all boxing fans. We hope we have some good news regarding that fight. Also, yesterday, Twitter went in.
Thanks for the super chat, Lamuneka. Damn, Eddie looks like he's trying to make weight. Yeah, he has gotten a little smaller. Here's a question. Do you think that Joshua thinks he can beat Fury? To me, I just think this is a cash out. But also, what choice did he have to take, like not to take the fight? You know, they couldn't just turn it down because then he would have went, you know, it would have been a clear duck. So, and AJ's in a vulnerable position where, as we talked about, you know, he's not going to be sniffing a title shot via even a mandatory. Yeah, and you know these sanctioning bodies will love to make him mandatory. But right now, with the WBA, having pretty much the feds on their back, he can't even jump the line right there. So, this was the perfect timing power move by Tyson Fury to be like, all right, listen, we full in control of this situation. What is he going to do? Is he not going? Is he going to duck this? Is he going to duck? Is we giving him 60-40? And he getting a title shot. But a part of me, man, just think that Tyson Fury going to break him before they even get in the ring. I didn't like none of that body language from Anthony Joshua. Remember at the final press conference when Usyk, showed up in his, what do you call it? The Korzak? What is it? His war dance attire. He showed up, in the Ukrainian garb, and looked like he was about to, do like a war dance. So he started singing, a national war song. I forgot what it was. They told me in the comments. And the way Anthony Joshua was like, okay, maybe it's time for me to leave. And he just gently strolled off the stage. He just looked broken going into the fight overall. And then the whole meltdown he had, at the post fight, throwing the man belts out the ring and all that shit, walking around with his flag, giving these fucking long ass speeches. I'm 14 stone, that's why. All that shit. So if Usyk was able to do that to him, not saying nothing, not speaking English and just saying, little short words and just wearing, the crazy haircuts and the war dance celebration clothes, garbs, then Tyson Fury's going to annihilate him. Do you not remember what Tyson Fury told Deontay Wilder? You know how he told him exactly what he was going to do to him? When he had the trainer and he just was like, look, he can have Malik Scott all he want. But he's just going to, once he get punched in the face, he's just going to revert back to the old him. Here, let me see if I can find that for you. And I'm wondering like, yo, bro, like Usyk, Tyson Fury good on the microphone. He might break him before he get into the ring. Just to teach him a lesson. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I'm going to be able to find the clip for you. But yeah, I'm concerned about that. But, it does put American boxing to shame because here you have Anthony Joshua fighting Usyk August the 20th. And then if they fuck around and get this deal done and finalized by next week, because even though they're talking right now, they're drafting up everything. We can have a press conference in 2 weeks. Of course, they got to wait for them to mourn the queen and all of that stuff. But if they put this fight together before they put together Spence Crawford, I'm going to be pissed. Because it's like, yo, fucking, he told you what he was going to do. Like crazy. But anyway, I'm going to be pissed because it's like here in the States, we got too much mumbo jumbo bullshit going on. And I understand why it is. I know the truth, but PBC got to get their shit together, man. PBC fighters are assets to the company. And they can't just be lent out. It's not the fighters. Like they are part of the organization. They're assets. So if the investors don't want them lent out or going to no other networks, then and then maybe lose with no return on the investment, then, but that's not our fault. Like that ain't the fans' fault. You motherfuckers, pay them all this money. Like, how is that us? Hold on, I'm looking for something. Y'all keep paying all these fighters all this money, and y'all got to keep all your fights in-house. Now, of course, it's going to be somebody that's going to say, well, all promoters do this. Yeah, they do, but not to the extent of PBC. They will stop the shit out of a fight, bro. I'm talking about you got to pull fucking Al Heyman teeth out, like to get him to send one of his big name fighters. Now he'll send some small guys over to the zone, every now and then, shit like that. But when it comes to like his big top guys, he don't. Even a guy like Keith Thurman, what's going on with him? You know, he don't have enough dates right now, unless something really happens, which I've been hearing about for over a year now. Unless something really happens where Paramount Plus starts showing boxing and they get like a new broadcasting deal over there, or they re-up their deal with PBC on Fox, which just shows pay-per-views, by the way. You know, they got too many fighters and not enough dates. But it's like they hold on to the fighters, and it's just like, it's weird. But I was looking for this clip that I posted of Tyson Fury telling Wilder what he was going to do to him. But anyway, how you guys been? You guys all right? We're going to be here covering the final press conference for Canelo versus Golovkin 3, which is going to be on Thursday, and I believe it's at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be here for the weigh-in. It's also at the same time. And I'm not going to be able to find this clip. And we're going to be streaming during the main event. I did a whole podcast on the undercard. The undercard is all showcase fights. Yeah, you got, Bam Rodriguez, Gabriel Rosado, Diego Pacheco, those guys. But for the most part, it's all showcase. It's all showcase fight. It doesn't really, there's nothing that really calls me to make me be like, all right, this undercard. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this joint. I mean, yeah, you can, expect some knockouts, but it's just bro. But with both of those fighters, we're not going to talk about that too much. Let's stay on topic with Fury Wilder before we go into Canelo versus Golovkin. But closing thoughts, I said Fury Wilder. Closing thoughts on Fury versus Joshua, though. I believe it's going to happen. I have concerns of if there's going to be network issues, because Tyson Fury is still under contract with Top Rank in ESPN. He's under contract with BT Sport Frank Warren. As it stands right now, Anthony Joshua has a DAZN. He's fully DAZN. He signed with DAZN back in June or so, but Sky Sports had won the rights or paid for the rights for his fight against Usyk. But now he's a strictly DAZN fighter. So how do they do it? Do they do BT Sport box office in the UK and DAZN all around the world, but in the States we do ESPN? They got some things they got to figure out there. And could DAZN and BT Sport do a joint broadcast, kind of like they did with Mayweather Pacquiao? Is it that big to where you can say, all right, if you want to watch DAZN's broadcast, you can buy through them. All right, if you want to watch Showtime, you can buy through them. How do you? But as long as the fight gets made, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, for real. But it is interesting because it's okay, I want to see how they're going to do this. Because ESPN, they are our number one sports platform here in the States. And DAZN can't compete. But DAZN may want that fight here on their platform in the States because they want to drive audiences to their platform. But I would rather see it be on ESPN. I feel that a fight of that magnitude should get an ESPN push. Just my opinion. Let DAZN have Mexico and every other territory outside of America and the UK. Let them have every other territory in the world outside of America and the UK. Simple as that. Because over in the UK, I would even, from what I know, fans would probably want it to be on BT because it's going to be pay-per-view anyway. BT over DAZN because of shoulder content, and they're going to really, really pump it. But BT Sport be having, some of their press conferences, man, been 3 years. They be having sound issues, blurry ass. It be Vaseline on the camera. They got to get that shit together for a fight like this. But I think it's going to happen. And the only way it doesn't happen is if some network bullshit get in the way. You can tell Eddie Hearn, he really wanted to negotiate. But they told him, take it or leave it. 60-40, there is no movement. Here's the contract. Here's the terms. Do you want it or do you not? And they were going to pull back and be like, all right, we're going to fight somebody else. Because one final thing I want to bring up. Do y'all think Tyson Fury having some money issues? Remember, he was MTK Global's biggest fighter. You think his money, his assets got frozen? Because he's been a little whorish lately. He's been trying to fight everyone. I mean, I'm glad he finally fighting Anthony Joshua, but he's been trying to fight like everybody from the Mountain from Game of Thrones. He wanted to fight Derek Chisora again. People have been saying I'm not one to talk about people's mental health conditions or rumored mental health, but people have been saying he's been bipolar because like his moves, especially on social media, it's been a little weird. It's like, bro, what are you going to do? But I think it's going to happen. Because if it doesn't happen, already too much has been discussed in the media. You have Frank Warren on TalkSport. You now have Eddie Hearn saying, yeah, we agreed to everything. You have him saying that he's in daily contact with George Warren, Frank Warren's son, the liaison, the middleman. And you have Anthony Joshua's management team putting out messages and tweets saying it's done. Like, we agreed to everything. Hold on 1 minute. I think I got to take this.
He said, she said, because at the moment, we're in a good place. It's not what we expected. Coming off the Usyk defeat, I felt AJ would come back with an easier fight in December and maybe one in the spring, and then Dillian Whyte and Wilder. But this is the fight that AJ's wanted for so long, and he wasn't prepared to wait any longer. He felt this could be his only opportunity to get the fight with Tyson Fury. Everybody asks him about that fight all the time. He's continuously fought all challengers. He's continuously fought everybody that people wanted him to fight or tried to fight them, and this is another example of that. So, as I said, I think Mr. Fury has a great deal, but this one wasn't really about the money for AJ. This was about the challenge, and we accept the challenge.
The terms that have been reported 60-40, first fight in favour of Tyson Fury, 50-50 split if AJ wins the rematch. Are those accurate as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we weren't allowed to negotiate. In all deals you negotiate, but we were told unequivocally, no movement, take it or leave it. And, we were treated like the B-side going into the fight. Whether that's right or wrong, it doesn't really matter because it came down to AJ wanting the fight. And remarkable run, I talk about Anthony Joshua's resume, and dating back to Dillian Whyte and Brazil and Molina and Klitschko and Takam and Parker and Povetkin and Ruiz, Pulev, Usyk, Fury. I mean, this may be the greatest resume or run of fights for any heavyweight of our generation. He still probably won't get the credit, but I hope he does because ultimately, the gauntlet was laid out and he ran it and he wants this fight.
We've done this interview a few times now, Ed, where we've spoken about...
Yeah, we listened to that already. On to the next topic. I don't know how I feel about this fight week between Canelo and Golovkin. I was watching, it was only half an hour. I was watching, in fact, I'm going to pull it up for you on the screen. I was watching the Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva press conference. The one they had in Phoenix yesterday, they had one in LA. It was a two-city tour. The fight's taking place in Arizona. And I was watching the Grand Arrival at the same time, and I was thinking like there's just no buzz with this joint, Before, when you seen these guys first fight the first time, there were people everywhere. By the way, T Street was in Vegas, but he got kicked out the MGM Grand unjustly. Black Lives Matter. But anyway, even for the second fight, like the buzz was there. But this third fight, I don't know if it's because it's on the zone. It just don't, maybe if they had HBO behind it again, but it just don't seem like, as I'm looking around, like the venue, the MGM Grand, like it don't seem like nobody's really there. Like the Grand Arrivals before, it was people like all over the place. And now it just seems like this little ass track. Look, it says people there, but it was bigger than that, bro. Like people were just like, like packed in. I don't know. The fight's going to be, if you have a subscription for the DAZN here in the States, it's going to be $64.99. But if you don't have a subscription, it's going to be $84.99. $85. Do you think that this pay-per-view is going to be successful? These guys are making a lot of money. I won't be surprised if there's a Golovkin arriving in this little ass James Bond car. I don't think that this fight's going to crack 500,000 pay-per-view buys, but I got a sick feeling in my gut. Let me tell you something. The feeling I have in my gut, it's sick. I think that Golovkin might pull it off. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say he's going to win. I'm going to say I think he might pull it off. I think Canelo was vulnerable. But he started 40 in this day and age in boxing, in my opinion, is not really old. It's like you're in your twilight, but it's not old like it was 5-10 years ago. You can still compete at somewhat of a high level when you're 42 years old, especially when you don't take like a lot of damage and all of that. I think Golovkin is one of those guys. But man, is he starting to look old. Like he's starting to look it. I watched, we did a live stream during the Ryota Murata fight, his last fight. When was that, back in April? And he did look rusty. He looked rusty as fuck those first few rounds, but then he started beating the shit out of Murata. Now, Canelo, well, his last fight was against Dimitri Bivol, and he just got outboxed. So, I mean, I predicted that. I wish I was a gambler. It's only 2 fights that I wish I was a gambler on. No, 3. Broner versus Maidana. Canelo versus Bivol, and Joshua versus Usyk. Like, I knew in my gut, I said, yo, like fucking Adrian Broner, Maidana, he ain't coming to fight. Adrian Broner has issues with punchers and movement. I mean, punch output. Let's listen to the interview. That, Grand Rivals. Fans. Thanks a lot, Muka, for the super chat. No, Radio Raheem has not paid me. I'm no bullshit. Radio Raheem owes me $150. I did a podcast with him and Dave Chappelle. I still have the tape. And it was a pilot for a show that they were trying to launch. But anyway, they owe me some money. And they made me sign an agreement, and they supposed to send me a check for my services, and they never sent the check. Rashida, I remember your name.
Welcome to Las Vegas.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you again.
Now this is your 3rd trip to Vegas for a fight. Previous 2 fights have been these prior 2 matches with Canelo Alvarez. What memories have stayed with you from those 2 prior trips to this city?
I have great memory. You know, like I lost my first 2 fights. Like I have a great memory. Come on, guys. I'm very happy to be here again.
Come on, guys.
Good
What?
to see you again, guys.
This is going to be your first fight at 168 pounds. How have you been feeling with the extra weight?
You know, like same, probably the same, just only a couple, maybe like 1, 2 more dinners, you know, more burgers, more tacos, you know.
One or 2 more dinners per night? Or
that was racist.
pro night, more extra tacos, not really, like 5 tacos.
There we go.
I had Taco Bell for lunch.
In the past, you are comfortable knowing and believing that you feel you won the first 2 fights. But what would a win on record against Canelo mean to you?
You know, this is not just only for me, just for sport. Just I want to bring back, you know, boxing position, bring back. Just, you know, I want to clean sport. I'm just huge boxing fan. Come on, guys. I want to bring back position.
Give it up for Gennady Golovkin, everybody. The unified middleweight champion of the world.
Canelo, right. I don't like how he be talking all his nice shit, barely understandable English when he be doing interviews. But then when he talk to media and he get it translated, he start fucking coming at Canelo. It's like, bro, say that shit with your chest. But yeah, I mean, come on, guys. I want to believe as I'm looking at him like he can do it, but I don't know. Because you know what I think is going to happen? I keep thinking about the Derevianchenko fight, how Derevianchenko punched him in the stomach. And who was the referee? Harvey Dock that got in the way. You know, Golovkin was on the retreat there. And I'm thinking that maybe Canelo can punch him in that old ass body. And that's how he folds. Like, I think if Canelo beats him, it would be body shots. Y'all hate that shit. He be like, come on, guys. Like, come on, what? But I think that's how Canelo wins. I don't think that Golovkin can be knocked out by like a headshot. I don't think he can be. I think a body shot will fold him. I mean, come on, guys. You know, this is box. Here's what Eddie had to say. Like I said, this media day, grand arrival, it was only about a half an hour.
Up that had been rising all summer for this, but how would you describe the excitement of the first couple of days of fight week?
Huge. I mean, you see the turnout here. This is a modern day great fight, you know, between two modern day greats, two icons of our generation in boxing. You know, the undisputed super middleweight world champion, the unified middleweight world champion, two of the best fights we've ever seen. You're about to see the best one on Saturday night. I've never seen Canelo Alvarez train with such intensity and desire. And for Gennady Golovkin, I think up at 168, it's going to really suit him. And I think there's something inside Gennady Golovkin that says, this is the last big roll of the dice for me. I have to win this fight. Neither guys will take a step backwards in that ring. And honestly, I think you'll see the best of the three on Saturday.
It brings a question to mind here. There is authentic animosity between these two. And you can't always say that with each fighter as they build up for their respective fights. From someone in your position, have you noticed the difference in behavior or attitude from either gentleman?
Yeah, you see it. You know, they're going to come head-to-head here in a minute. And the first couple of head-to-heads, you saw it from Canelo Alvarez. You know, he's coming off a defeat. There's a lot of pressure on Saul this weekend. You know, coming off that Bivol defeat, he wants to make a statement. And Gennady Golovkin looks great. I think, as I said, up at 168, it's going to really, really help him. And both guys don't like each other. You know, Canelo makes that pretty obvious. Gennady sometimes makes it obvious, but does to the media. And we want to see them go at it this week, because this means a lot. Canelo Alvarez made it clear he wants to end the career of Gennady Golovkin on Saturday. And I think Gennady Golovkin's going to be very difficult to beat this weekend. I don't think the fight goes 12 rounds, but I think both guys are not going to take a step backward. It's going to be ferocious, it's going to be spiteful, it's going to be brutal. And I think this fight's going to go backwards and forwards and give us all great entertainment.
It's what we want here in this third fight. For you, what does this mean? And how special is this to have this event kick off a big fourth quarter for Matchroom in 2022?
Well, look, we're just a small company from Essex, you know, and we're living a dream out here.
I'm Hispanic too. I know better. I know it wasn't racist blood corpse. Chill out. I'm Mexican too.
To see
and we don't play that mess
collide this weekend and to be promoting it with our great team at Matchroom Boxing and the great journey we've been on from DAZN. You know, coming up obviously this weekend, next weekend we're in Nottingham. You know, then all of a sudden we've got Eubank Ben, one of the biggest fights we've ever done in the UK. Then we're in Brisbane for our first ever Australia show. What, 15, 16 years making champion.
All right, Eddie. Let's go look at Canelo when he showed up. I'm not going to play it, though, because I always get copyrighted for that music. We're going to just play, let's see if it's playing. To show the face-off that they had earlier. Yeah, I feel offended. I know it's not racist. I eat tacos all the time. It's in my heritage. Yeah, that music is definitely copyright. You know what I noticed, though? Probably because it's early. You know it's a Canelo fight week because he always got that shit on his lips. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it. You know, but my man, you need to get, you know, head over to your local Walgreens. Get some shit, clear that right up. I mean, this is at 168. You know, so both of these guys are like, you know, they don't blow up very much. They don't blow up very much. Let's listen to Canelo. Yappy always got that cold sore shit on his lip every fight week. So if he don't got it on his lip this week, then I know he don't mean business.
Back here at the MGM Grand, and Eddie and I were talking about it before. It's not
see if it's there.
We see you
up,
with
it's
a
there.
lot of drama with your opponents
I think it's there.
Build up to a fight. You have that here. How have you used the dislike for Gennady to fuel you during your training camps?
No, la verdad es que voy a hablar en español porque pura gente mexicana aquí, aparte de septiembre.
There you go. It's there.
Es septiembre. La verdad es que siempre uso eso a mi favor para entrenar al 100%, para estar enfocado 100% y dar una gran pelea. Y la verdad es que estoy más enfocado que nunca por regresar fuerte.
So I'm always 100% focused in whatever fight I go into. So that's what I have in my head more than anything, to be 100% focused on this fight.
What will the outcome of Saturday mean to you and your legacy?
No, es una pelea muy importante para mi legado, es una pelea muy importante para mí, para la gente que la quería ver.
It's right there. I'm telling you. You know he mean business when you look right there, and it's like, you know, it's right there. So he ain't playing around. Golovkin going to sleep now.
Realmente estoy muy contento de estar aquí, en entregarles una gran pelea a la gente, seguir envuelto en este tipo de peleas, para mí es muy importante.
So it's really important for me, this type of fight, for my legacy, for all these people that are here. So I'm really hoping that I can put on a good show for the people that come here.
And we know this is the first fight at 168 pounds between you and Gennady. He says he's eating more tacos these days. What different challenges might a 168-pound Gennady Golovkin
Ain't no damn
present?
scar tissue.
No lo sé, lo veremos el sábado. La verdad es que no lo sé, lo que estoy enfocado en lo que yo voy a brindar arriba del cuadrilátero, lo que él va a brindar, pues él solo lo sabe. Yo vengo preparado para el mejor Golovkin y el sábado van a ver una gran pelea.
So I don't know. We'll have to wait on Saturday to see what happens there. I know that I'm preparing for the best Gennady Golovkin, but I'm going to see what I can put on that fight. But we'll have to see on Saturday to see what he brings.
And once again, Mexican Independence Day coming up on Friday, Mexican Independence Day weekend. Can you describe how special it is to be able to fight on these occasions?
No, para mí es muy especial representar a mi país en estas fechas tan importantes y más con este tipo de peleas. La verdad es que me siento muy, muy contento, agradecido con el apoyo de todos ustedes y espero que disfruten de un gran fin de semana de la independencia de México.
So it's always really important to represent my country on important dates like this, and I hope I can put on a really good show on, Mexican Independence Day on Saturday for my fans from Mexico.
Canelo, again, welcome to Vegas. Have a great rest of the week.
Muchas gracias. Gracias a todos por venir. Gracias.
Thank you,
Gracias.
everyone, for coming. Thank you.
Canelo Alvarez, everybody. Gennady Golovkin. The fight week has begun here in Vegas, and we have plenty.
All right. So let's talk about this undercard. You have Bam Rodriguez taking on Israel Gonzalez, Ali Akhmadov taking on Gabriel Rosado, Austin Amla Williams taking on Kieran Conway. Looking forward to that fight. Diego Pacheco taking on Enrique Colazo, Mark Castro taking on Kevin Montiel Mendoza, and Anthony Herrera taking on Delvin McKinney. How do you feel about that? I rate the undercard showcase fights, and I give it a thumbs down. I'm going to rate the undercard a C plus. It's not a C because that's too close to a C minus. It's just showcase fights. C plus, that's closer to a B. But is it really close to a B though? Is it a regular C? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this undercard? It's showcase fights. Bam Rodriguez, Israel Gonzalez. Okay, all right, cool. This is Bam being rewarded by being on a Canelo card for him having such a big year. Ali Akhmadov, Gabe Rosado, that's going to be pretty good, because you never know what Gabe Rosado is going to show up. And then, yes, I do agree, Mr. S. Rosado is American's Derek Chisora. Austin Williams versus Conway. That should be all right. Nice little test for Austin Williams. Diego Pacheco, don't really care about too much as of yet. Mark Castro, been watching him. But, those teeth of his kind of give me the creeps. That's my right. I can be a little bit afraid of those, those kind of give me creeps. Like, look, they could have got my man a better box rec picture. Like, holy smokes. Doesn't he look like one of them dolls? Like them scary-ass porcelain dolls? Holy smokes, give me the creeps. Anyway, I think it's the teeth, and probably because of his weight, that's not like that skinny bone structure that if he put on some weight, he wouldn't look like that. But let me stop being unprofessional. So what's going on? How you guys been, man? I'm about to get up out of here in a couple of minutes. I got to go take my ass to the gym. I'm on creatine, so I'm getting some gains. I'm on creatine. You want to see my workout supplements? I'm on the snack program. It looks like Quagmire. Y'all tripping. Shut up. Yeah, I want some juice too. I want that stuff that Big Baby Miller was taking. I need that extra edge in the gym. I'm in the gym about hour 45 minutes a day. I've been there like damn near every day. So I want that stuff Big Baby Miller was taking. The needles. Give me some of that. The GW 1516. What's the other good? Give me some nasal spray too. And some of that Mexican street meat. Isn't it supposed to give you like more endurance? I want some of that. Well, I kind of get some of that stuff. The clenbuterol. Clenbuterol. No bullshit. I'm in the gym every day. And you know what people say? They always say that a liar thinks that everybody lies. Here, I'll show you. That's how liars work. They think that everybody lies. Look. Here's my last 7 days. Tell me if you can see it. It's my last 7 days. Yeah, no bullshit. I do 50 minutes on the treadmill, 20 minutes on the bike, and then I do a mile just around the indoor track. And I'm taking this stuff right here. What's this stuff? Taking this. Can you see it? This is the new bottle. And this right here. But yeah, I be energetic as fuck. Like, you know, shouldn't be going to the gym 7 days a week. That shit's kind of fucking with me. But I do get hell of a good sleep. Ain't no okay, motherfucker. You call me a liar. Tell me some okay, 15,000 steps. Motherfucker, you just called me a liar. You just called me a liar. Yeah, I just started weight training 2 weeks ago. So I'm doing I do 50 minutes on the treadmill, 20 minutes on the exercise bike, 1 mile around the track, and I'm just doing 30 minutes of weight training for now. So I just started the creatine like 2 days ago. I've been taking snack for a month and a half now. Castro looks like Locke from Nightmare Before. What? What does that mean? Nightmare what? The Nightmare Before Christmas? Oh shit, I remember that. Yeah, so I'm having some significant like body aches. Like I be sore and shit in the mornings, like getting out of bed. But yeah, we're gonna be here streaming. The press conference is gonna be on Thursday. We're gonna be here for that. Tomorrow, a very big fight coming up. Thanks, Mom, La Muneca. Tomorrow, we're gonna have Sebastian Fundora and Carlos Ocampo media Zoom call. I forgot what time that is, so that's what I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow. Thursday morning, I'm gonna be up covering Australian boxing, fucking Paul Gallen. Also on Thursday, we're doing a Canelo versus Golovkin 3 press conference. Friday, we're going to be here streaming the weigh-in. And then Saturday, we're going to be here streaming during the main event and the post-fight press conference. Yes, the snack products give me more endurance. So I take it. I'm actually about to take it now. I'm about to eat dinner. I eat dinner at 7. I'm going to stretch until 7:30 and then head out to the gym. So it's 6:52 now. So I'm all gym ready. I got my gym clothes on now. Which I wear the same thing pretty much every day. I got like all my clothes are the same colors. So yeah, I take it 20 minutes before. And then I get to that motherfucker. I do my weight training first, and then I get on that treadmill and start going crazy. Yes, I am going to be streaming during the main event of Canelo versus Golovkin 3. Yeah, I'm on it's not 2,500 calories a day, but it's under 28. It's about 2,800 or so, give or take. But for the most part, I start my day with basically 2 egg white, turkey sausage, air fried. I got these flax seeds fiber wraps that I use. Cheese, boom, sandwich. 2 hours later, I'll have like a cup of non-fat yogurt with some granola. Boom. Take that. Then eat that. Then for lunch today, I had a taco bowl with brown rice, lean ground beef, lettuce, teaspoon of sour cream, 2 teaspoons of Mexican cheese. Then for snack, before I started the stream, I had a cup of pretzels, cup and a half of pretzels, and a cup of chocolate milk. For dinner, I'm having 2 boneless chicken breasts, 2 cups of spinach, and 2 cups of broccoli. Then I'm going to take my supplements, head to the gym, come home, sleep on an empty stomach. But no, it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought I didn't have any issues. I'm full. You know, and also, yeah, I had an orange and some grapes today too. So no, like that shit, it's not like once you get into a routine, like it's not as, you know, but it was time. Like I was eating a lot. I became a foodie. So I was going to a lot of different restaurants over the last couple of years. All the restaurants in my neighborhood, even fine dinings from like, I post pictures and everything. But I got something like 11 million photo views on my Google Maps. So I just was eating anything pretty much, like trying all the foods of the world. So I gained a lot of weight, COVID. So now that I'm almost 40, it's like, all right, bro, you know, you don't want to get the diabetes. How do I combat the soreness? I don't. But I think I need to take a day off, though, because I've been in the gym 13 of the last 15 days. Like that shit. And it's been pretty much all cardio. Yeah, I tried yoga out, but it's just not really for me. You know, the worst part of my workout is the stretching. That's what I hate the most. Like, I hate the stretching. I cannot stand it. I was in a coma back in 2018. So I didn't finish my physical therapy like I should have. So I lost a lot of my flexibility. So I'm just getting it back. So when you don't have no flexibility and you're trying to, you know, like being able to like finally touch your toes again, you know, and then you got to do like your hamstring stretches and like, I hate it. I hate it. Like I'm dreading it. I got to go do it in like 15 minutes. I dread it. But yeah, as long as you stretch every day, you're good. But don't get it twisted. I'm not no fucking health guru or nothing like that. I'm just going off of what I've learned from the internet. And I've been following the same routine now for closer to 2 months. I've lost, what's the math? I was 298 on May the 2nd. I'm now 264. So whatever that math is, I can't think of off the top of my head. My motivation to get off the couch, well, it wasn't getting off the couch. I was pretty much like, I work from home. So I just pretty much, but my motivation was, I got 2 big trials coming up, October the 31st and December the 19th. So I want to look like really, really good in a nice ass suit. No, I don't do energy drinks. I want to look really good in a nice ass suit. So that's pretty much my motivation. That, and also, you know, like taking better care of your body. You know? Like I didn't like how fat I got. I got fucking fat as shit. I went from being 198 pounds. This was after the coma, though. My natural weight is about 220 or so. That's my natural weight. So I got all the way up to 298, and I was like, what the fuck? I got on the scale, and I was just trying to get up the steps, and I was like, ugh, like Gordo. Like I remember I was trying to get to the steps to get to I think I was trying to get to the mailbox. And I got up the steps and I was like, Lord Jesus, all sweating, you know, all greasy. And I was like, that's it. That's it. We got to take better care of ourselves, man. You laying on top of your woman, all fucking fat. I was like, you know what? That's it. Or when you see people you ain't seen in a long time and they be like, damn, man, what the fuck? Nigga, you fat as shit. Or when your mom see you, but like, boy, you need to lose some weight. You know, that shit start getting to you. So I was like, you know what? All right, fuck that. I'm tired of being called a fat ass. You know? So I just said, you know what? I'm going to the gym. And I've been there ever since. But it was cool hanging out with you guys. Let me get up out of here. I'm about to go eat my dinner now, take my ass to the gym. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you want to hang out for Sebastian Fundora and Carlos Ocampo's media Zoom call. See you guys later. Yeah, I was fat as shit. I was so fat. I went to try to get the mail. I was like, ugh.